What you up to?
Been gone the last 3 days, so it's just kind of catching up right now, to be honest. How about yourself?
I've been pretty good.
Let me grab one of these.
It is a nice view.
Yeah, it's
that
not too
crescent
bad.
moon's lovely.
Is everything okay?
Yeah. Everything's good. I'm just, putting my skills to work. My skills to the test.
Okay.
Handling business. Making sure everything's taken care of that I can take care of, which isn't much.
Okay.
What about you? How was the little break? You have fun?
It was really good.
You had a good time.
Oh, it was really fucking good. I mean, I don't even. I went to this like indoor like spa, like a fucking.
Oh, nice.
It was like a hot tub place. Like the fucking. They had 10 different like rooms, different themes. We picked one that was kind of like a beach, and it was like a fucking 20-person size hot tub with like fucking beach sand and all this other shit. Like, I didn't even. It was like an indoor like hot tub theme park. Like it was fucking good. Yeah.
That's fucking cool, man. I love spas.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing better than getting a 90-minute deep tissue.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But okay. So what were you saying on the phone earlier?
No, nothing.
Okay.
That's good news. So we'll be able to do our job soon.
Well, we'll find out. I don't want to get you too excited because I don't know
That's
the
fine. I
full
already got other
extent.
plans.
Okay. Do you want to tell me what you've been up to?
Let's see.
You're kind of answering questions like in a way where it's like you want to tell me, but you're kind of leaving it a mystery, and I'm slowly getting like uncomfortable watching you wearing a fucking bulletproof vest and walk over here, take your mask off. Like, I mean, you could tell me, right?
Yeah, I know I can tell you.
Yeah, so okay.
I've just been handling business, robbing banks and shit, taking care of business. Good money, especially when you're getting paid by the hour for the mayor stuff. I'm really making a killing out there. I made like 200 grand yesterday.
Listen, understandable.
Yeah, I am ready to get back to work.
That's good. Not that you've had much opportunity, given the circumstances.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. Oh, my human chessboard's done. Almost
oh,
done.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna set that up.
Look, I'm gonna keep it simple, all right? This has been fucking ridiculous, right? And
yeah.
And I think hopefully we'll have representatives here tonight. I think they were gonna be around yesterday, but I wasn't around. But
that's all right. Yeah, you gotta do your look, man. You work hard, man.
Yeah.
I got a tremendous amount of respect for you, Mayor Chavez, because I'm about to crash out over just doing this shit for a month.
Yeah.
You've been doing it for 4 times as long.
Yeah, it's been fucking bullshit. It's been really bullshit. I mean, if you want to take, taking the entire city hostage is fucking disgusting as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, if anyone's going to take the entire city hostage, it's going to be us.
Yeah, exactly. But why would we need to do that? You know what I'm saying? But, Pred, I heard back from the FOIA shit today.
You did?
Yes. Apparently, my FOIA is almost prepared. And
it took a while.
it did. I think some of it was out of the hands of McNee. His cell phone's been overheating, and he doesn't want to leave his house without it. So Grayson took the helm. And
I had a successful small claims court yesterday I forgot to tell you about.
Okay.
Yeah, continue. My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just thought about how I am sometimes.
There are 0 marshal reports.
What do you mean there's 0?
She doesn't see a single marshal report with my name in it. I want you to think about that for a second.
Huh. That's, there isn't one?
Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's almost like there should be a couple, right? I don't know, made by an ex-marshal.
I don't think I made any reports on you. Actually, I did make a bunch of reports that had you in them.
Yep.
I actually had reports that had you tagged, yeah.
Yep. So what the fuck is going on?
I don't know. I had you tagged to as a person of interest for me to talk to about the murder of that guy that worked for you when you were running for mayor.
Or what about the threats or the fish situation?
Yeah, the fish situation, the threats. Yeah, I did that. I did all those too. Those were all logged.
Yep. And I have a series of other ones that I know that exist. And so Arcadia's running it down right now. I've told her I'm going to try not to jump to any conclusions, but you know, it's concerning because the number of times I've reached out to the marshals. I mean, hell, I spoke to Nova and she told me she put a report together after fucking Michael got shot up. So something is cooked here. And it's either A, my shit got scrubbed, B, they're not actually writing things in marshal reports. Maybe intentionally.
Well, I mean, you just said it yourself. I mean, you know that a bunch exist, and I'm telling you that I did like 3 of them myself.
Mm-hmm. The other possibility is
time frame.
What if the judges can't see marshal reports?
I don't think they can. Only marshals can see marshal reports.
That is crazy if true. So she's helping me with some things, and she's already nudging me in the right direction. You know, is that maybe there needs to be some kind of like thing put up on the docket to force the production of it. So, but
I mean, more than likely, I mean, because you have me as a direct witness who can attest to making some.
Mm-hmm.
I think I actually made like 4 or 5, like maybe 3 or 4. Maybe 4 or 5. I'm not sure. It's been so long ago.
Yeah.
But I know I made a couple, and I tagged you in a few.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, you were going fucking ham those 2 weeks. If it was even 2 weeks.
It was like it was 7 days.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, I like to work. I like that type of work, man. I like investigating people, looking into things like that, turning over stones, pulling people aside and talking to them about shit.
I mean, hey,
like
you did a hell of a job.
That's why I'd much rather be the director of the marshals than a mayor. I feel like my skill set's just better for that.
Yeah.
Honestly, can I be real with you? You want to hear something?
Yeah.
I hate most of these fucking people. I hate them. Can't stand them. Don't want to do anything for them.
What?
Not that I could do anything for them right now if I wanted to, but I'm just saying, I mean, you know, the BCSO, you know, they just, yeah, I would much rather, I could do a lot more damage to them investigating them.
I think a really honest conversation needs to be had as to dereliction of duty. I know Michael's going to be back here in a couple days, but he's been putting together. I'm curious to see how this conversation happens over the weekend. But right now, it's beyond dereliction of duty. The entire city's at a standstill.
Well, every infrastructure is essentially failing right now. You know what I mean? The doctors, the EMS, the DOJ. I mean, the DOJ, I give it to them. Like, people like Arcadia, people like, you know, Nathaniel, and, you know, Adams and shit. Like, they try pretty fucking hard. They do. And some other ones that I'm not naming because I just can't remember off the top of my head their names. But, you know, they're trying. You know, I actually had a small claims court case yesterday against Richard Dark.
What happened?
So I went to go meet Richard Dark. I had just got done robbing a bank. Richard Dark was accusing me, calling me a criminal. He said I like shot cops and stuff. I said, hey, that's never been proven. Stop slandering me.
Hey, what?
Yeah. So then I called Judge Arcadia, and I said, I need to sue Richard Dark now. And I went and I sued him, and I won $10,000 in small claims court for slander.
Wait, why?
One of my witnesses was an RC car.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, shit. Okay. How's your court case looking?
Well, pre-trial is actually taking place today in 4.5 hours, actually.
Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing how that ends up playing out. Bro, this is actually fucking crazy. Okay. Well, fuck. Okay. Well, shit. I think right now, obviously, this is a bit more of a holding pattern, but I'm pretty confident that things are going to start moving again. I mean, they have to at this point.
Yeah, they will.
And
Hopefully. I mean, if it doesn't, then I'm just going to resign. You know what I mean? Like, it'll just be that easy for me. I was like, hey, give it to Eve Summers.
Yeah, I was contemplating doing something very similar.
But I don't think it looks good for the city if we do that. I don't think that's what I think about, because you know, I care about this city more than I care about most things. It's in my top 3. You know, and I don't think us doing something like that is a good look to the people.
I feel like we'd be doing the exact same thing that the justices are doing, which is the moment that power is challenged, it turned into some other shit.
Well, what do you mean exactly?
Well, what I mean is, you know, we went through the legal routes, produced a document that showed that the legislation was against the Constitution, and there was one crash out session, and then it disappeared. Yeah, you know what I mean? What am I supposed to make with this? You know what I mean? So
I mean, that's how I feel about my case too, brother. You know, I got my pre-trial coming up. I've had 5 pieces of legislation just sitting there. No one said nothing about none of them.
Yeah. So
you know how it goes. You know,
I think that
I think you're doing a good job. If you want me to be honest with you, I think all things considered, you know, people might give you shit, man, but they don't know you know, you do a good job of like keeping the ball moving from that position that you're in, and trying to do things. And what it just comes down to is people just not wanting to do their job, or people just wanting to be able to say, "Fuck you, Nino, you're not doing this," and then you fight it, and then
they're like, "Why?"
People say you're the bad guy.
I don't think I've had any. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you, Pred. Yeah. I don't think I have anyone other than 2 people come up to me and have a problem. But it's been BCSO, the marshals, and a justice. Like everyone else, these people want to kill for me. You know what I mean? So
yeah, same. I
don't really know why.
On
I'm not really. I don't think there's been a moment where anyone that is not one of those parties has come and challenged anything that I've done. If anything, my biggest retractors were, I would say fucking ADMC, and like maybe 1 or 2 other groups. And if anything, our relationship is stronger than ever. So, I
think things are on the up and up.
Yeah. I think we just need an opportunity to make shit pop in the city. And I think anybody that may have the impression that we're doing this for selfish reasons, it's fucking projection, right? I don't think there's any value, at least I've gotten out of this position. At the end of the day, we need the city to move for everyone's benefit. And
Yeah.
No temper tantrum should prevent that.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man.
Yeah.
All right. Look.
So.
You know, it's 10 times easier in life to point the finger at someone else other than yourself. I mean, I've done it enough to know and learn from it. You know, I mean, that's what happens. You know, you get pissed off, point your finger. You know, but a lot of times I've learned I've just been the cause of my own problems. A lot of things I could have done. That's one of the things that comes with age, I guess.
Yep.
I wouldn't say it's wisdom. It's just, you know, you learn a bit.
Yeah, you learn a bit. You realize doing X, Y, and Z probably ain't worth it.
But at the end of the day, I don't care if I'm the mayor, if I get pulled out of office, if all these charges stick, whatever. I'm just going to try my best to beat them, though.
I agree. I think we'll see what comes out of this. So I am going to send you a document of all the changes that we were going to present to in that meeting.
Okay.
Take a look at it. Have someone take a look at it if you like. The second is I'm going to be recommending trying to figure out what the approach is. I'm going to have it altered in a way that says as follows. If you, whatever, do not get a response from a justice within a time frame, I would say 5 days, that a judge can assume the role of doing the review.
Honestly, you want to know what my solution is? It's a lot more extreme than yours, so it's probably not as good, because yours is essentially finding a middle ground, right? Mine is just declaring a state of emergency. And, using
we can't do that,
authoritative power.
That's the problem.
Oh, come on, we can make a state announcement right now.
Yeah, but you know how it is, right? There's a lot of things that I would love to do as well, but we could try doing it, and then we're just gonna wake up and have our keys gone. So, it sounds great and all, but it's kind of like the whole impeachment shit. Yeah, I would love to do it, but unless we've got an approach, it's just.
Give me 1 second. I gotta send a text message. 1 second.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things we legally cannot do.
Sorry about that, Nino. Important business.
Yep. No, you're good. Yeah. Well, so let's run it back into the reality realm, right? There's a lot of how do you think it should work if a justice does not respond to our legislation?
So, I mean, it's got to be like
realistically.
A multi-step process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Realistically. All right. So this is realistic, educated Kyle Pred from his 1.5 years of community college before he went to the police academy and got a 2-year degree in 6 months. Here's the thing. There needs to be okay, you have 72 hours to respond or recognize this. Failure to fucking recognize it in that period of time is a strike or a sanction or something against the sitting justice. Because if there's 3 justices, right, that's and 72 hours is more than enough time just to give something a quick review. I feel like, especially because, I mean, I review all the legislation that I have. I reviewed it. I checked it with the Constitution, all that stuff. I did each one of them, usually 10 minutes. It's not like it's not a very hard process. And normally people always say I'm a goddamn retard, but if I can do it, I don't know what other people's excuses are, because if I'm capable of it, then all right. So it would be like probably like a strike system or like a sanction system or something like that, right? And then it's like you have another 72 hours to recognize this strike, and you have another, and in that 72 hours to rectify the wrongdoings of it by, you know, just doing the simple review. All right, and then it gets to another, and then that's when things start getting a little extreme, right? Because so they had this 72 hours initially. They have the strike filed against them, their office or whatever, and the warning against it, right? That should probably come with a money penalty or a cost or something towards like our respectable county budgets. And then from that point, right, if they failed again and they don't even recognize the strike or whatever, all right. And then also, I can also understand too if there's like, you know, maybe there's a good reason why.
Solar, thank you for the 1 year.
That's acceptable. Then like the strike can just be removed because people have to do stuff. You know, sometimes, you know, life happens type shit.
Yeah.
All right, but then after that, that's when things get more brutal, and the system should be like instant removal of authoritative powers and overview and stuff like that, pending like a review by like the judiciary and like the mayors and stuff, right?
But you're talking about like impeachment shit, right? Solar, thank you for the 1 year.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the conversation. So this still isn't even about impeachment, because it's only, I mean, 70, you know, 6 days in total isn't really that much, but it just kind of gets the ball rolling on the seriousness of stuff, right? And then, you know, if it like it's not really an authoritative conduct review, but it's kind of just like, you know, we got to talk about this. Like, why isn't this happening? Like, what's the issue? Is this thing really that fucked up that it's taken this much time to, you know, gloss over, or what? And then after that point, right, then what it should do is it should be authoritative conduct review, and then like the removal of their powers being until the authoritative conduct review takes place. And then you have a backup system take place where it's like either A, we're responsible for our own legislation. If we go against the Constitution, then that falls on us and we're solely responsible, or B, like you said, the judges have to review it. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's giving people a chance, but then also like we're able to get more people involved in the process as well, or we're able just to take a sole person, like the sole responsibility of the matter and do it ourselves. And then if it's fucked up and it's unconstitutional and then people don't like it, then we pay the penalty of, you know, being removed from office or the entire public hating something, and then that ruin our chances of running again for re-election and shit like that. I don't know, it kind of like creates a lot of like stepping stones for like everybody involved.
Yeah, so the way I look at it is, I know
it sounds like a little complicated, but I don't really think it's that complicated.
Dark, think of the 5 months.
It's a pretty small system.
So I want to go back to what is the main issue that you and I have been facing, right? And I'm not talking about us being effectively witch hunted by the marshals and the justices without merit, right? Our names being dragged through the mud.
Mine might have merit, but yours definitely doesn't, in my opinion.
Yours doesn't have merit even. I got
the charges and the grow up and all that.
Oh, no, but that's not merit. It's not like, listen, I'm gonna fucking die on this hill, right? Like I started my life as a fucking defense attorney like 25 years ago. And any cunt that believes that, no, that was much afterwards. Any cunt that thinks that they can just like assume your guilt and then ruin your life based on it is nothing more than a
brother. It's already happened to me twice by the same person.
Yeah, and I've always held to that principle. It doesn't matter if you believe something might be true. If you don't have the evidence and you're going through whatever fucking, you know, fucking being corrupt in order to come to a conclusion, you're no better than who you're going after, right? And so, yes, there might be less of a reason, but there's a baseline standard. I'm going to go as far as saying that what you experienced is the same thing that most of the civilians have experienced in the city. That's why they don't fucking exist. It's because people literally have orgasms thinking about ruining someone's life. So, what problem have we faced? It's a sleeping set of justices. I've never seen Hollow outside of your court case. Who the fuck knows where Hart is? And Angel has mostly come around just to fuck shit up. We have countered it.
Not wrong.
We, I think, have asked for something very fair, which is every legislative authority has their authority to look after, and that's all we've asked for. We didn't ask to fucking take over their fucking job. We just said they're the judiciary. We're the executive branches, as it says in the Constitution. What's the problem? Now, given the fact that they have used, I forgot what the term is in Congress, but it's not lame duck, but it's when, because the Senate does this too in the United States, and representatives is like, they stall the process. And that's what we're seeing right now. And I think what we need is to advocate
all the time in politics.
It does. It's not filibuster. We cannot ask for the world whenever this meeting happens, right? So I think we need something simple, like if it doesn't get reviewed in 3 days, a judge can review it for compliance the next 3 days afterwards. Like, we could make a request. And I think that resolves 90% of our problems. And it still adheres. If someone has an issue, they bring it to court. You get what I'm where I'm going with this? Simple solution. Because you and I cannot redesign the entire fucking institution. As much as I would love to. Yes.
Oh, I don't know if I'd want to, like, all right, so me, what I just want to do is I just want people who want to do the shit, right? Who want to, to do the shit. That's all I want. People, I think it's been made clear that, like, I mean, this kind of circles back to, like, the institutions, like, that surround us, right? Like, the PD, I will say, is probably, I wouldn't say that they're failing, but I would say that they're not
PD's
consistent.
a fucking failure.
I was just trying to be nice.
No, there's nothing nice to say about it. Like, even when it comes to the LSPD, do I think they're great? Do I like Peters? Do I like Daisy? Do I think Daisy's the best one for the job? Yes, 100%. But as an institution, the fucking entire LSPD has been, like, both departments have been junk. They still produce officers that are have the mental of thought crime. I mean, I don't think you can resolve that.
Yeah, I don't think you can either. I mean,
it's too late.
I don't really know how to fix a lot of stuff. And but the one issue that I see is that, like, I mean, anybody from the outside looking in can see that, like, a lot of the institutions, just the people need to be replaced that are in charge of them. But even then, like, the damage has been done so heavily that I don't even know if you were to find the perfect people that it could fix shit right now. At least not in a quick way.
I mean, I want to give you perspective, right? I spoke to Bailey right there, and he was in agreement from day one. The mayors would have oversight and control over the police departments. 4 months of the marshals and the justices, with his leave, have created a circumstance where the police departments believe they are fully autonomous and can do whatever the fuck they want, which means that the grander institute that was created with this new constitution is broken because people have thought they had a democratic voice for how the city could function, but instead they've lost hope in that, and I don't know how you bring that hope back without anything dramatic happening. Part of me has wondered, maybe we do a grand election, and while that may not resolve anything, it could at least give short-term hope. But
I think people respond well to that kind of stuff too, because it creates opportunity where usually most people wouldn't have it.
Yeah, tell me if I'm wrong here. I think if we're going to talk about the police department, the problem is that it's impossible to give them accountability. And
what do you mean exactly?
There's individual accountability, right? Where, let's say, an officer is found doing something corrupt, and then they are selectively, fired or whatever, right? But accountability to the people is not there.
Well,
Example.
that kind of falls onto the civilians because they can take that route, but they don't. Like, there's like, they can have the signatures and have someone taken to court, but they don't do it.
I feel like that's where our job is in play, right? I believe that we as mayors are accountable for the police department. Unfortunately, if a police department believes that their success is based on how many officers are awake and how many people they're putting into jail and how much time and fine, I don't think that's actual success, right? If your populace is unhappy. Or do you think that's too complex of an idea for San Andreas? Because I feel like the latter is very important.
I don't think it's too complex of an idea. I think that what happens, though, is that, like, I mean, if you go around, like, and you talk to a bunch of people like you and I have, kind of see where most people's interests, like, lie, right? Most people don't give a fuck about nothing other than their gang, right? Most people don't give a fuck about anything other than, like, the thing that they like. You know, asking people to broaden the scope and, like, broaden their horizons, you know, they just don't want to do it. Now, I mean, it wasn't like that a long time ago.
Oh my God,
it wasn't like that
right.
even like it wasn't like that even a few years ago, but it's what it comes down to is that, like, the populace is just like, they're not really interested in anything outside of their usual. And the ones that are, you know, like the ones that are don't really feel like they get rewarded for it.
Apparently PD has been repairing their own vehicles and doing their own car swaps.
Yeah, people are pissed off about that.
And so, but the problem is, how do you make PD accountable for that action?
That's where the marshals are supposed to come in. Right? You do a lengthy investigation.
You know that's not gonna, what do we do?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, I mean, I did like a whole bunch of that in just a week, and it was just me doing it. You know, while doing a bunch of, like, other shit too. I mean, it's not hard. It doesn't even take that much time. Like, all it is essentially getting someone down, recorder, talking to them, talking to the accusers, talking to the victims. I mean, to the accused, talking to the victim.
Yeah.
Right, and then you know, you kind of go from there and you deep dive into it a little bit more. You kind of leave the case open. If more evidence pops up, if more things come up against this person, then you have a stronger case, and then it gets brought to court. And then the judge renders a verdict. You know, maybe it's not, maybe there's not, maybe it's just, yeah, I mean, what it is, right, it's kind of like the grand show, right? You know what I mean? It's kind of like going to the movies, right? Like, maybe the movie doesn't end the way people want it to, but as long as people see something happening, they're all right with it. Like, as long as people see that they can go to the movie and it's playing, you know, like, i.e., like, you know, like, you know, like a group of people report a cop for some misconduct bullshit. There's not really much stuff that you can do, but then it's like you do the investigation, you know, you have the recordings, you submit the evidence, you take it to a small trial with the people there, and then people see that the ball's rolling, people see that shit's getting done, and then people don't lose faith in the system. People see the system works and is working and is at least functioning.
Yeah, but okay, so is there accountability that can be had without going through the justice system? Because let's be honest, justice system
depends on the severity
takes
of the
way
crime,
too
right?
long.
Or, I mean, yeah, it depends on, like, the severity of, like, the crime. I mean, mainly, I mean, I don't have faith in this police department to really hold anyone accountable when I see Bruce and Aspen a week later being back in the positions they were in after being demoted. And then Aspen being one of the 5 names given to me for sheriff. Like, these people...
That is exactly where I'm getting at, Pred.
Yeah, I mean, they don't, like, the people in charge of, like, the institution, I'm going to use the BCSO, they don't really care about the greater good. They only care about their clique. They only care about their bubble. And that's the issue, right?
That's the issue. Yes. And so if we do not have fucking control of these PDs and cannot issue accountability and have that expectation, none of it matters.
Yeah, bring a commissioner back, but have it be more of a political role. Like we bring in someone to be a commissioner that can properly like do authoritative reviews into the PD and actually can say, hey, you're done. It doesn't matter what you say, sheriff. It doesn't matter what you say, chief. I'm making the call here. If you don't like it, then fuck you. Deal with it. But then again, I don't like the idea of that either. But I don't see anything else that can work, especially if you can't drag people out. I would much prefer a system where we have judges around the clock and lawyers around the clock and can drag people in and out of court on a whim. You know, I think that creates a more streamlined environment that people want to take part in. Like people see something happening then. But then the extreme route would be a commissioner stepping in. But I wouldn't like to see that. I would much rather see judges around the clock, lawyers around the clock, EMS, doctors around the clock, tons of civilians, tons of gang members, you know, the mayor's office being able to fucking do shit and actually really help the public.
I think our reality is, though, Pred, you're not fixing the marshals. I'm not fixing it. The OJ, what can we do?
Can't do anything about either one.
We need to find a way, even if it's fucking dramatic. Because let me ask you this, Pred. We have two options in front of us, right? Who knows? I'm fairly confident that our legislation is going to start moving forward again. But we need to think about the next step. Is how do we fucking tame the beast known as the police department and make the citizenry believe that they work for them and not the other way around. And if it's a drastic decision, let it be a fucking drastic decision.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, especially with the way things are right now, things are so delicate. I mean, the PD had, 2 officers around earlier. You know what I mean? Like,
who cares?
I mean,
whose failure is that?
Yeah, but then how do we fix that failure? I mean, that failure's on leadership then at that point, right? The leaders of the BCSO, the leaders of the LSPD. There's no one else to blame. I mean, me personally, I think that like your command structure is like super important. If you don't have people that like motivate others to work and to do things and to, stop crime and shit, then what are you going to do?
I guess my problem with that is that if I agree that it's nothing we can do, then why do anything?
You lose. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, but what it comes down to is like, is the extreme option the only option? It's not the only option, but it's probably the one that gets the quickest results and people see shit happening. But the best option would be like being able to elect a decent amount of judges. You know what I mean? Not everyone's going to be a fucking genius. You know?
But where did the judges fix the PD accountability issue?
Well, no, so they wouldn't be fixing it. So it'd be like, investigations are handled, right? Internal investigations are done. Maybe you'd rectify an internal affairs department outside of the police department has the purview to detain officers for questioning, right? That knows like, the legal route of things, how to do it appropriately, which isn't hard to find because most people aren't as dumb as people think they are. Most people just act dumb because they're lazy. And then, from there, we do things like we encourage the justices and the judges to have more judge elections and get more people in that position. And, and kind of make it more maybe not like maybe sink or swim ain't the right term, but give people the opportunity to either succeed or fail. And then if there's an issue, it can always be challenged again in court, you know what I mean? And then things go from there. But then also what it comes down to is that you could find, here's the thing I worry about, and you are right where like when you say like maybe the extreme option's the only one that works. All right? Because imagine you did find someone did something fucked up, but then the sheriff didn't punish them or the chief didn't punish them appropriately or accordingly to anything like that. So what do you do then? How do you fix it? You have them held, you have to fine them huge amounts of money. so that even if they aren't punished by the PD appropriately, that they still get what's coming to them. I mean, when I was a sheriff, I was $9 million in debt. So I fucked up. I took a bunch of goddamn loans.
I
don't know, man.
So
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the extreme option is the only one. I'm kind of just thinking out loud here.
Yeah, I know. I was just like speaking like I don't think it's the only option either, but I think it's the one that gets the quickest and best result. But long term, I don't agree with it, because I don't think one person having, like, here's the thing, I don't want control over the BCSO, right? But I do just want them to take things appropriate, because, you know, I control their pay at the end of the day, right? You control the LSPD's pay. You have a much better relationship with Moss and Peters than I do Bones and Cassidy. Bones and Cassidy don't give a fuck about nothing.
That's the issue. Yeah, I mean, I've been somewhat having a very similar issue with Moss for some time, right? Where, you know, she will, there'll be, civilians will be suffering, right? Like with this helicopter shit. And
all right, fine. I'll be police chief, Nino.
No, I'm not going to make you fucking police chief, motherfucker. But, she goes in, will say she's going to do something, and then a week later, and she's back to getting, like, I think she likes getting targeted. She'll, like, play Boss Moss, and then she'll be bending over, like, a week later. But the problem is that at a certain point, you're kind of like, well, this person's not even reliable to do, like, anything. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think she is, in reality, the closest thing to reliable that exists. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
the police departments need a fucking warrior, right? That can maintain a position. I may not agree with the position, but at least I know what their position is, and it's not changing every 3 days. But who are the options?
No, I get what you're saying.
Like if you wanted to if you needed to replace Bones, who would you replace it with? If I needed to replace Moss, who would I replace it with?
I mean, if I was going to replace Bones, realistically, I already have a plan for it. I would allow people, anyone from any department that has, or anybody that has police experience to, you know, come audition for the role.
But
set it up.
I'm with
have
you.
My judges.
But I'm even saying, like, let's say you had to pick one.
Probably McNulty.
Yes.
I'd probably pick McNulty right now.
Okay. And if you had to pick someone for LSPD, who would that be? We'll never know